I don't want to be walking back there with you and they attack you like a pack of hyenas.
I do.
No.
I do.
No, you don't.
I'm gonna get. Do you know how much money I get out of this? If I listen,
no.
I know in my mind.
No.
If I get hit upside the head, knocked out, kicked in the ass, this is a $200 million tour. I'm willing to. I'm willing to die for $20 million, like George Floyd.
No, stop. No.
You can George Floyd me for $20 million.
No, stop.
You can George. Do you know if something would have happened to me, this $200 million tour, half of it's mine? Guaranteed.
Charleston White just played one of the slickest, most cold-blooded moves hip-hop's ever seen. What looked like a heated beef with NBA YoungBoy wasn't just drama. It was a setup so smooth it could have ruined YoungBoy's entire career if it went wrong. The truth behind it? A $100 million lawsuit trap waiting to explode. See, Charleston didn't pop up at that Houston concert for peace talks. He came hoping for chaos. He wanted to get touched, pushed, or even slightly hit, so he could flip it into a courtroom jackpot. That man didn't bring smoke, he brought paperwork. And the wildest part? NBA YoungBoy almost fell for it. One wrong move and Charleston would have been counting stacks while YoungBoy's team tried cleaning up the mess. But this plot didn't just come out of nowhere. The beef between them had been simmering for months. Charleston made his whole brand off disrespect, trolling rappers, speaking on the dead, and saying wild stuff just to go viral. And once he picked YoungBoy as his target, things got messy fast. He was hopping on every podcast, throwing shade, talking about YoungBoy's music, his legal issues, even his character, straight violation talk. In the streets, that kind of disrespect doesn't slide without consequences. At first, YoungBoy brushed it off like it wasn't worth his energy, but Charleston kept poking the bear, pushing buttons just to get a reaction. Then finally, YoungBoy answered the way rappers do best, through his lyrics. He dropped bars that cut deep, letting Charleston know he heard every word and wasn't with the funny games. And when one of the biggest rappers in the world puts your name in a track, that's not a shout-out, it's a straight warning. But Charleston, he didn't back down for a second. Instead of backing off, Charleston White cranked the trolling up even higher. And here's where things took a wild twist. NBA YoungBoy announced a show in Houston, Texas, and somehow, Charleston got an invitation. Not from some random fan or internet troll group, but from YoungBoy's actual team. Yeah, you heard that right. The same man who'd been trashing him for months just got a VIP invite to the show. What kind of logic is that? When Charleston first posted about the invite, nobody believed him. The internet laughed it off, saying, "Ain't no way YoungBoy invited his biggest hater." It just didn't add up. In the streets, that's not how things work. You don't invite the dude who's been clowning you online. But Charleston came with receipts, screenshots, messages, timestamps, proof that the invitation was 100% real. The whole hip-hop community went into shock. People were asking, wait, maybe is YoungBoy trying to make peace? Or is this some kind of trap? The energy was tense. Nobody could tell what the real play was. Some said it was maturity. Others whispered it smelled like bait. At first, Charleston played it cool. He hopped online and said straight up he wasn't going. Said it felt shady, like a setup waiting to happen. He reminded everyone that showing up at a YoungBoy concert in Texas, right after months of public beef, sounded like asking for trouble. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. But then, Charleston flipped the script. Suddenly, his tone changed. He started talking bold, like he wanted to go. That's when people realized something deeper was at play. He began posting about being a public figure, about having legal rights, and how if anything happened to him that night, there would be serious legal consequences. That's when he dropped the keyword, lawsuits. He wasn't thinking about street codes anymore. He was thinking about courtroom moves. He said the venue was responsible for his safety, that any harm to him would fall on organizers and security. Charleston was no longer speaking like a man walking into danger. He was talking like a man preparing a $1 million chess move. Now let's break down what was really going on here, because Charleston White wasn't moving recklessly. He was moving strategically. This man got a long, messy history of using lawsuits like they're part of his hustle. He's sued people before, got others locked up, and he's perfected the blueprint of turning chaos into cash. He doesn't just start drama for clout, he does it for profit. Charleston's playbook is pure manipulation genius. Step 1. Say the wildest, most disrespectful stuff you can think of. Things guaranteed to make somebody snap. Step 2. Make sure every word, every moment, every angle is recorded. Step 3. When someone finally loses their cool and reacts physically, boom. That's when he flips the script and sues them for every dollar they've got. It's not street justice. It's legal extortion dressed up as free speech rights. That's exactly the game he was running with NBA YoungBoy. He weighed out every risk and reward like a pro. On one hand, yeah, showing up to that Houston concert could have gone left real quick. YoungBoy's fans, they're loyal, protective, and some of them really live that life. Stepping into that kind of energy after months of talking reckless could have been straight up dangerous. But on the other hand, if anything happened to him inside that venue, at a ticketed event, with cameras rolling and security all around, Charleston could have turned that into a legal gold mine. We're talking about lawsuits stacked from every angle, not just against whoever swung on him, but against YoungBoy himself, the concert promoters, the venue owners, anybody with money and a signature on the event. And you gotta understand how valuable that move was. NBA YoungBoy just locked in a deal reportedly worth over $60 million. That's generational money. So imagine Charleston filing a lawsuit claiming assault, emotional trauma, and public endangerment. That could have easily turned into a multi-million-dollar payday. It wasn't about clout anymore. It was about collecting checks. We're talking tens of millions on the line here. And that's not even the wildest part, because the venue and promoters, they got deep pockets and massive insurance policies backing every concert. If Charleston could prove he got attacked, threatened, or even felt unsafe at that official event, those insurance companies would have been cutting checks fast just to avoid a long, messy courtroom battle. That's not just beef. That's business strategy. And the crazy thing is, Charleston knew exactly what he was doing. He's been in lawsuits before, and won. The man studies civil law like it's part of his hustle. He knows that even if the criminal side doesn't hold, civil cases don't need hard evidence. Just enough for a jury to say, yeah, that sounds believable. And wealthy folks like YoungBoy or event promoters, they hate public trials. They'd rather pay out quietly than risk headlines dragging their names. Charleston wasn't chasing drama. He was setting up what could have been the biggest cash grab of his entire life. But the invitation itself raised major red flags. Some folks online started whispering that maybe Charleston's own team helped orchestrate it. Maybe they slid through intermediaries, played connections, or even twisted things to make it look like YoungBoy's people had invited him. No one really knew who sent it. But one thing was crystal clear. Charleston saw an opening and took the bait with both hands. And he made sure everyone saw it too. Before the show, he was flooding his socials, posting screenshots of the invite, talking about safety concerns, saying he didn't trust the energy but was still going. Every post, every word, it all sounded like a man preparing for something big. But this wasn't just for clout. This was a legal setup. He was documenting every step, building his case before anything even popped off. In legal terms, he was creating what lawyers call foreseeable harm. By saying publicly that he felt threatened and unsafe, Charleston was locking in a narrative. If anything went down, it wouldn't look random. It'd look predictable. And that right there makes everyone involved, from YoungBoy's camp to the promoters, way more liable. Now here's where NBA YoungBoy's team should have seen the setup coming. Because when a man who's been clowning you for months suddenly wants to pull up to your event after talking about lawsuits and legal consequences, that ain't peace. That's paperwork prep. Anyone paying attention could have seen this was a trap dressed up like a truce. But somehow, Charleston still got the green light to walk straight into the lion's den. So what really went down in Houston? The night of the show came, and Charleston White actually showed up. Not hiding, not ducking, he pulled up bold, surrounded by his crew, cameras rolling from every angle. He made sure every second was captured. Walking in, talking, everything. This wasn't a man trying to squash beef. This was a man building evidence. According to witnesses and multiple videos that hit the internet fast, the whole vibe inside the venue flipped the second Charleston stepped in. People started whispering, heads turned. Everybody knew exactly who he was. That's the dude who's been dissing YoungBoy online. You could almost hear the crowd saying. And then the tension snapped. Members of YoungBoy's team spotted him in the crowd, and you could see the shift. Eyes locked in, energy turned heavy. These weren't industry suits or PR handlers. These were real street dudes, the kind who live by respect and reaction. In their world, disrespect doesn't get debated. It gets handled immediately. Several of YoungBoy's associates started moving toward Charleston, and you can literally see the moment it clicked in his mind. This is it. The exact reaction he'd been baiting for all along. The cameras caught every step, every glance, every heated word. The trap had officially been triggered, and the danger in that room skyrocketed in seconds. The tension in that room was electric. Body language tight, voices raised, and aggression rising fast. Charleston's cameras were rolling non-stop, capturing every glare, every curse, every movement. This was his moment. The exact confrontation he'd been baiting for. The golden ticket that could have turned into a $100 million payday. But then, just when things were seconds away from going left, fate stepped in. Out of nowhere, venue security rushed in like pros. They moved quick, separating Charleston from YoungBoy's crew before anyone could even raise a hand. The guards formed a wall, shutting the whole thing down before a single punch landed. In that instant, they didn't just prevent chaos, they saved NBA YoungBoy from walking straight into a legal disaster. Because if even one person had touched Charleston, that courtroom door would have swung wide open. Security didn't play around either. They surrounded Charleston, kept the peace, and walked him right out of the venue to make sure nothing escalated. No hits, no shoves, no contact, just tension and words flying in the air. It was all bark, no bite, and legally speaking, that made all the difference. And of course, the second Charleston hit the sidewalk, he went straight to social media. Within minutes, clips started popping up. Him talking about how he was attacked, how security had to protect him, and how YoungBoy's people tried to harm him. The dramatics were turned all the way up. But if you paid attention to his words, you'd catch the finesse. He wasn't saying, "They hit me," because they didn't. He wasn't claiming, "They touched me," because they never did. It was all emotional storytelling, the kind that sounds explosive online but means nothing in court. Charleston was spinning the moment for views, not victories, because legally, there was no case to make. Charleston hopped online claiming he felt threatened and that security had to save him. Language perfect for pulling sympathy on social media, but completely empty in the courtroom. The legal truth? Feeling scared doesn't equal getting paid. You need proof. Real contact, real injury, real damages. And Charleston didn't have any of that. See, the law doesn't care about tough talk or tense stares. Verbal threats, mean looks, even someone walking up on you with attitude, none of that hits the bar for assault unless there's actual physical action. And because security moved fast, they stopped Charleston from ever being touched. That single move shut down his entire money play before it could even start. And here's the genius part. NBA YoungBoy was nowhere near it. While Charleston was outside making drama, YoungBoy was reportedly backstage, locked in, getting ready for his performance. That distance? It saved him millions. There's no video, no clip, no witness connecting YoungBoy directly to the chaos. Not one. That's everything in court. Because if YoungBoy had personally stepped out and confronted Charleston, or even told someone to handle it, he'd be cooked, legally responsible for every move his people made. But since his crew acted on their own, that connection disappears like smoke. There's no solid proof, no direct link, no paper trail. Charleston tried spinning the whole event like it was a setup, saying YoungBoy's team invited him just to get him jumped. But the receipts didn't back it up. Without a single punch thrown, without physical evidence, without measurable damage, the entire lawsuit dream crumbled. The big $100 million plan? Gone before it even started. And what came next exposed something deeper. Not just about Charleston's failed play, but about how smart YoungBoy's camp really was in avoiding the kind of trap that's been ruining careers across the industry. After the Houston chaos, Charleston White hit the internet running like a man on a mission. He went on a full-blown media tour, podcast appearances, Instagram lives, YouTube interviews, all pushing one story, that he'd been set up and attacked at NBA YoungBoy's concert. The man turned the whole event into a headline factory overnight. But here's the part that made people raise eyebrows. While Charleston was busy talking, he wasn't doing anything legal. No police report filed, no lawyers hired, no civil case in motion, nothing. Just endless videos and dramatic posts online. If he truly believed he'd been wronged, you'd think he'd be in court chasing that supposed $100 million bag, not on IG chasing clout. That right there exposed the truth. This wasn't a man seeking justice, it was a man chasing views. What looks like a lawsuit setup turned out to be a full-blown publicity stunt. perfectly crafted to grab headlines and pull attention back to him. And sadly, it worked. His name was trending again, his clips going viral, his interviews pulling numbers. But that's the darker side of what's happening in hip-hop right now. The rise of the clout hustlers. Folks who figured out that drama equals dollars. Charleston White's entire hustle runs on that formula. Provoke rappers, disrespect the dead, stir the pot until someone reacts, and then flip it into content or court threats. He turned trolling into a business plan. And he ain't alone in this game either. There's a whole lineup of podcast hosts, social media agitators, and YouTube personalities doing the same thing, picking fights with rappers, filming the fallout, and getting paid from every view. They know controversy feeds the algorithm, and the algorithm feeds their pockets. But Charleston? He just took the game to a new level. He added lawsuits to the hustle. He didn't just chase clout, he tried to monetize chaos itself. Charleston White has officially written the Trolls Handbook, a straight-up blueprint for turning hip-hop beef into business. Step 1, disrespect rappers loud enough to get their attention. Step 2, somehow get invited to their events. Step 3, pull up with cameras rolling. Step 4, wait for a reaction, capture everything on film, and then sue. It's not chaos. It's calculated clout chasing with a paycheck attached. What makes it terrifying is how close this scheme came to actually working. If NBA YoungBoy's team hadn't been so disciplined and professional that night in Houston, it could have ended in disaster. One wrong move, one push, one swing. And Charleston would have had every piece of evidence he needed to cash in big time. The man was literally inches away from flipping a fake beef into a multi-million-dollar win. But because YoungBoy's security was locked in and handled it by the book, no violence, no contact, no chaos, they unknowingly saved him millions. Their calm heads turned what could have been a financial nightmare into nothing more than a loud viral moment. And here's the bigger problem. Charleston didn't just pull off a stunt, he taught the game to others. He's practically handed out a manual for future clout chasers and internet antagonists. They've seen how easy it is to get attention. Disrespect a big name, bait them, show up with your phone recording, and pray for conflict. If anything goes down, boom, instant lawsuit and free publicity. That puts artists in a lose-lose situation. If they respond physically, they risk lawsuits. If they ignore the disrespect, they look weak to fans. And if they try to be the bigger person by meeting face-to-face, that so-called peacemaker might just be setting a trap with hidden cameras and legal paperwork. It's a twisted game where every move can backfire. At this point, the only real way to win is not to play at all. Don't feed the trolls, don't respond, don't invite them, and definitely don't give them free access to your world. That kind of self-control isn't easy, especially when someone's been running their mouth about you for months. But it's the only protection left in a digital world where disrespect pays. Because at the end of the day, Charleston White's failed attempt to corner NBA YoungBoy wasn't just about one lawsuit. It was a warning shot to the entire industry. In the end, it all came down to one thing: professionalism. Security did their job perfectly, and NBA YoungBoy's team, whether by smart planning or pure instinct, handled everything in the legally correct way. That's why no lawsuit ever dropped. Because Charleston White didn't have a leg to stand on. No punches, no contact, no damages, no case. But the fact that this whole trap even got that close shows how dangerous the game has become for today's rappers. We're not just talking street beef anymore. This is legal warfare. People out here studying the system, learning how to turn one shove or one heated moment into $1 million payday. One mistake, 1 second of losing control, could cost an artist everything they've worked for. Charleston White just exposed a new kind of predator in hip-hop. Trolls who don't need to fight you to hurt you, they just need to bait you. He made it clear that clout and lawsuits can walk hand in hand. Disrespect a rapper, get noticed, provoke a reaction, and then flip it in court for profit. He turned trolling into a business plan, and now every opportunist watching is taking notes. For NBA YoungBoy, this was a close call. He dodged a $100 million bullet by staying cool and letting his people handle it right. It's a wake-up call for the whole industry. Not everyone trying to talk things out is coming in peace. Some folks aren't seeking closure. They're seeking compensation. These confrontations aren't about respect anymore. They're traps wrapped in legal paperwork waiting for you to slip up. That's the sad reality now. Beef isn't just about music or street cred, it's about liability. Who's got the better lawyer? Who's filming what? Who can twist a moment into a lawsuit? The game has evolved, and if artists don't evolve with it, they're sitting ducks for manipulation. Real talk. This kind of legal extortion is killing the culture. It's making rappers paranoid to speak, to meet, to even settle things face to face. It's turning every disagreement into a courtroom risk and handing power to trolls who thrive off chaos. Hip-hop used to be about expression. Now it's about protection. So what do you think? Was that invite from YoungBoy's team really genuine, or was Charleston pulling strings from the start? And how can artists protect themselves from these lawsuit setups that hide behind fake peace talks? Drop your thoughts down below. Let's get real about this. And before you dip, make sure to hit that like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into hip-hop's wildest and most calculated moments.